What does that mean to you, Black History Month?
It means that that's racism because they don't celebrate White History Month. We don't have it. I'm part Italian. I don't have Italian History Month. So what I think it's doing is perpetuating what this divide is in our nation, quite honestly, because I don't feel like that should be highlighted. I don't think that they should be pushing their agenda on myself because I'm a straight male, I have a wife, and I have children. I don't think that I should have to be bombarded and brainwashed through media, through those months or Pride, Black History. I don't think that's something that should be, dictated to me.
Is it a learning opportunity?
Not at all, because when I was in school, we learned, certain Black leaders, things like that. I don't need to hear it every single year for a whole month.
Weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The empathy exploit. They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response.
Empathy and compassion are evolved states of being. They require the mental capacity to step past our most primal urges. Cruelty is seen by some as an adroit cudgel to gain power. Empathy and kindness are considered weak. Many important people look at the vulnerable only as rungs on a ladder to the top. I'm here to tell you that when someone's path through this world is marked with acts of cruelty, they have failed the first test of an advanced society. They never forged new mental pathways to overcome their own instinctual fears. And so their thinking and problem solving will lack the imagination and creativity that the kindest people have in spades. Over my many years in politics and business, I have found one thing to be universally true. The kindest person in the room is often the smartest.
First off, deport all the men. And then for the women, maybe you'll have a 1 year time to marry. Oh. If you marry one of our Californian incels, then you can stay. But if you don't, then, well, you're getting sent back across.
What did you just say?
I think it's already happened.
What?
I think the Supreme Court is afraid to rule against Trump and take a strong stand because they know that Trump is just going to defy their court order and there isn't anything they can do. So I think from here on out, kangaroo courts happen. Kangaroo court is when basically the judicial branch just becomes an extension of the executive branch and they just become like a yes man institution. So I think if the Supreme Court ruled against Trump and Trump said no, nothing would happen. So the judicial branch, it would show that they have zero authority, and they don't want the people to see that the rule of law is broken down. So from here on out, I think they will either take a really weak stance, or they will just agree with whatever Trump says, in fear that they will look like they have no teeth because they don't.
Right, people, did you know that research shows we have less empathy? 2014 study from the National Academy of Sciences, 2017 study from the Social, Psychological and Personality Science, 2021 study from the Journal of Humanistic Psychology, 2023 study from Harvard that studied over 60,000 participants. All these studies demonstrated that white people feel less empathy, especially towards black people who are suffering. Even the well-meaning white people. As an academic, a lack of empathy is how we excuse harm. How medical bias happens, how police brutality gets minimized, how workplace abuse and gaslighting gets ignored. It prevents white people from changing the systems that are harming the black community. What can us white people do? 1, when you feel discomfort because of the suffering of other people, stop trying to come up with some bullshit excuses and learn how to sit with the discomfort and connect to it. 2, believe people when they tell you about their suffering instead of trying to minimize it or justify it. And 3, expose yourself to black storytelling. Not just trauma stories, but black stories of joy, of nuance, of complexity. Empathy deepens when everyone is humanized. There's no requirement to feel shame to grow empathy, but there is a requirement to feel something. And I think that's something us white people struggle with. I hope this helps.
As a white woman who leads a black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve. They've given so much to this sport and the community and society as a whole, and their value is undeniable. And in the WNBA last season, the postseason awards, 80% of the winners were black, but they got half the coverage as the white athletes. So I think it's time for change. Sports media holds the key to storylines. Sports media and sponsors tell us who is valuable, and you have told the world that I matter today, and everyone who voted, thank you. But I think we should use this power together to also celebrate black women. So to Maria Taylor, Robin Roberts, Maya Moore, Odyssey Alexander, to all the incredible black women in my life on my teams, to Breonna Taylor and all the lives lost, and to those names who have not yet learned, but I hope to share, I stand behind you, and I will continue to follow you and follow your lead and fight for you guys. So I just want to say thank you for everything.
Remember, the genocide was done against the Native Americans. They were Christians. The enslavement of Africans was done by Christians. This only can happen because of racism.
I need everyone to watch to the end. Make sure you comment and follow me or block me because I'm fucking pissed. We all try to play nice here on TikTok. We all try to speak in code and we try not to use certain names so that the algorithm doesn't knock down our posts. We all want our post to be seen by as many people as possible to get our message out. Fuck that. I'm over it. I'm over the algorithm. I don't care. Follow me, don't follow me. I have a message. Fuck President Trump. Fuck him. Fuck him hard. Fuck him everywhere in every hole that he can be fucked. This motherfucker needs to be out of office. He is destroying this country because this motherfucker is the most racist piece of shit that we have ever had in charge of this country. Everyone who doesn't look like me should be worried because this motherfucker is going after everybody. He's taking innocent people and shipping them off into prisons in El Salvador. And then he won't go get them when the Supreme Court says, no, go get them. We are in fucking trouble. Fuck the algorithm. Fuck TikTok. Everyone needs to speak up. This is getting serious, guys. This is bullshit. Make your voices heard.
People other than white people cannot be racist. Racism is a term that refers to the concentration of power among a certain group of people who then use that to exploit and oppress other groups of people. Yes, people who aren't white can be prejudiced towards other groups of people, but they can't be racist. Because of things like colonization, imperialism, and white supremacy, power is concentrated primarily into the hands of white people both then and now, which is why certain systems that exist now are inherently racist, such as the prison industrial complex or police departments around the country. And that's why a lot of white people are racist, because their family members were racist, because their great-grandparents were racist, and so on. It's the concentration of a lot of power into the hands of a few based upon their skin color. However, intergroup prejudices exist. So that's why you'll see people say, hey, I am this race, and I find that these people of this race are rude to me outside of white people. Because these individual prejudices still exist, and yes, they are still harmful. They just don't have a societal impact in the way that racism from white people does.
I took my family to a black circus. It was awesome. First of all, the show was incredible. But my wife and I were talking afterwards that my 7-year-old didn't seem to notice that he was the only white kid, and we felt really proud about that. Everyone was so kind and sweet to him, and he was just right at home. I wish it could be that way for everyone always, and I know it's not. We know as he gets older, he's gonna face grown-up realities of injustice, history, and all of those things. But for right now, we're hoping that these are some seeds we can plant that can set him on a good path. Anyway, I thought that was worth sharing. Plus, he just had an awesome time.
Excuse me, ma'am. What is it you think you're doing here?
I'm dumping trash out.
That's illegal. This is private property. You can't be using this dumpster for your trash.
Oh, no, it's okay. My office is right here. It's not illegal. I have an office here, sir.
Your office is here. You work, and you work here.
Correct. I'm an attorney at law. That's correct. Yes.
You're an attorney.
Yes, sir. Do you need a business card or anything?
Yeah, yes. I need proof of this.
Would you like services or anything, or why do you need my business?
I would like to see proof that you're an attorney, because this is private property. You can't be throwing trash out there. You're breaking the law.
Okay, I would love to show you my business card. That's no problem.
1019.
Here you go, sir. Linda Jones, attorney at law, located right at this office address.
I see the Linda Jones, but I don't see the address here.
Sir, if you flip the card over, please. Thank you. Is there anything else I can help you with, sir? Because the sun is...
I still don't see the address.
Sir, here's the address here, please. And that's my name. Is there anything else that you need to verify that, sir? I'm trying to cooperate here.
Ma'am, I'll ask the questions. You're breaking the law right now.
Actually, I'm an attorney. I know my rights, and I'm not breaking the law. As I stated, sir, I'm a tenant at this office location.
Okay, this card doesn't prove any of that. I need to see your ID.
You don't need to see my ID, sir. I just gave you my business card.
Ma'am, don't make this any more difficult than it has to be.
Address.
There's no need to be confrontational.
Nobody's being confrontational, sir. I'm not being confrontational.
Ma'am, you're being incredibly aggressive. All you're doing is escalating the situation, and there's no need for any of this.
I'm escalating the situation.
Correct. I've asked you 3 times now. I need to see your ID.
I will show you my ID to verify the business card, okay? I'll do that for you. But I don't have to, okay? I'm pretty sure you know that. This is my name to verify the business card and the office address, sir. This is not illegal dumping, once again.
Alright, but the address is different on your license than it is on the business card.
Because that's a business location, sir. That's not my home address.
Last night, Kamala gave a speech in front of a leadership conference for Black women, and she said that fear is contagious, but hope is also contagious. And she also said in that 8-minute long speech, "I am not going anywhere." And I posted a clip from that speech, and I was like, y'all need to watch this. And I was not thrilled with the responses from white women on that video. Maybe as a white woman, I should know by now what we're like. Let me give this comment as an example. I think this person blocked me after I called out her anti-Blackness. I'm frustrated with how quiet she's been, meaning Kamala. If there was ever a time we needed a leader from the left to step up, it's been the past 2 months, and she's been MIA. That feels like a betrayal. And I was like, girlfriend, the only person here who's been betrayed is Kamala Harris. She ran for president. She tried to be our leader, and we said no thanks. The American people betrayed her, rejected her. She spent all of her energy trying to warn us about what was to come. She was very explicit that she knew what we are living now was going to come to pass. And people said, no, we still don't want a Black woman. We will take that future instead of a Black woman president. And as I said to this person here, white women especially really want a Black woman to come save us. We want a mammy who will come and fix all our problems and rock us and soothe us and just like take care of everything for us so that we don't have to do any labor ourselves. I have said before, this is my concern about Jasmine Crockett. As much as I love her and I try to, talk about the good things that she's doing, I don't want to make her into that kind of a figure. It is not up to Black women to put their bodies, their lives on the front line to save the rest of us. Kamala already tried to do that, and y'all rejected her. We could have had an economics major as our president instead of Donald Trump using ChatGPT to write tariffs that are destroying the global economy and are sending us into probably a Great Depression. But y'all said, no thanks, we don't want a Black woman for president. This also echoes the way y'all responded to Cory Booker doing his filibuster on the floor. We're screaming, we need leadership, we need people to step up. And when they do, you say not like that. I feel a sense of betrayal. This wasn't done right. This is not enough. You should have done it sooner. So I'm just going to discount what you're doing now. Kamala ground herself into the ground trying to save this democracy, and she needed time to rest and recover. And she actually doesn't have to be doing anything at all. And yet, as she said, she's still here. She's still fighting. Please stop trying to make Black women be our saviors, and please stop trying to be disappointed when they don't do what you expect and that you actually have to do something yourself. We must save us. It is up to us, the American people. Do we need leaders in this movement? Yes. But stop acting like because the American people chose not to elect Kamala Harris, that she must now be our sacrificial lamb, the face of the revolution. Stop acting like you are still needing her to save us. Stop expecting Black women to sacrifice themselves for your liberty. You step up. You do it. It's up to us. We, the American people, collectively bear the responsibility for what we are living now, and it is up to us.
Let's be super clear about what this is. The State Department is ordering staff to report their colleagues for what they're calling anti-Christian bias. This is modern-day witch hunting, because there is no objective form of Christianity. We have 44,000 plus denominations. So in using this vague term, they get to decide what anti-Christian bias even is and can target individuals with this excuse. That is not freedom. That is not free speech, and that is certainly not religious freedom, which should protect all religions, including the non-religious. But instead, they're using this anti-Christian bias term. This should bother you no matter what your beliefs are. You do not want the government deciding what Christianity is or what any other religion is. Religious freedom should be important to all of us, atheist, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, Muslim alike. The government stepping in and pretending to know what any of these things are and labeling what they decide is Christianity, Christianity, or saying what something else isn't Christianity should terrify you. Christian nationalism is anti-Christian and anti-religious freedom. If you value the freedom to practice faith however you want, or to not practice faith, then you should be anti-Christian nationalism.
Keep saying the hands-off protests were so peaceful. Like that's some kind of surprise. But if you're white like me, you need to think about what actually made that possible. White people, you really need to sit with this. The protests were peaceful because we were the ones in the streets. Black, brown, and indigenous folks stayed home, not because they don't care, but for two reasons. One, it's not safe for them to show up. Two, it's not their problem to fix. We've all seen what happens when marginalized people show up in big numbers. Suddenly, it's tear gas, rubber bullets, arrest, and just straight up violence. So yeah, the protests were peaceful, but it wasn't because the system listened better. It's because whiteness made it safe for us to show up. And while we're naming things, let's be real. White people put 45 in office, not black voters, not brown voters, not indigenous voters, us. We built this system. We keep it running, and too many white folks are still clinging to it out of comfort, denial, or fear of giving up power. So if you're white and feeling proud that the protests were peaceful, cool. But ask yourself, what are you doing with that safety your skin gives you? Are you showing up when it matters most, or just when it's comfortable? Because this fight, this is our fight. Not just in solidarity, but in accountability. 45 is a white problem. The system is a white problem, and it's on us to dismantle.
So I was in medical school from 1996 to 2000. When I was in my third year OB rotation, back then, all the patients delivered in the OR. Vaginal delivery, C-sections, they all delivered in the OR. And I remember going back for a delivery, black patient. This was her fourth or fifth delivery. Delivered seamlessly, not an issue. And I remember it was me, the faculty, and a resident. Don't remember what year the resident was, doesn't really matter. But after the patient delivered, the faculty looked at the resident and said, "Have you repaired a 4th degree laceration yet?" And the resident said no. So, hold on. So, the faculty got a pair of scissors. Okay, the faculty got a pair of scissors, and he put one blade in the vagina and one blade in the rectum, and he cut a 4th degree in a patient who had already delivered. Now, I was a medical student. I didn't know if that was what was done and that's how they trained residents. I don't even think it even computed with me what was happening and how wrong it was, obviously, until I got more training and became a resident myself and realized what had actually happened. There's a lot of things that happened back then that we were made a party to because of the practices and obstetric abuses that were commonplace, and we couldn't say anything. We couldn't say anything. And although I will never know what it's like to be a Black pregnant individual in this country. I can educate myself and understand and teach and learn some more and bring awareness and do better for as a physician and as someone who's teaching future physicians. So in many ways, I do treat my Black patients differently because of what I know and I have learned. I have not experienced, but what I know and what I have learned has happened to them in healthcare since Joe Marion Sims. I make an active effort to make any situation I'm in a safe place for my Black patients because I care and I try to learn from them. And they actually teach me. But I can't be taught if I don't ask. So I ask. The fact that remains that the reason why Black patients in this country have the highest rates of maternal morbidity and mortality are largely due to racism, both within the individual providers and with the systems. It's not because of any biological differences in their bodies or their anatomy or their physiology. It's due to the fact that when they hit the door, they're not set up to receive equal and equitable health care because of the tone of their skin. And if you don't believe that, just hear this one little fact. Black pregnant patients with a college education still have a 5-fold increased risk of maternal morbidity and mortality over their white counterparts. So if you are an obstetrical care provider or you're becoming one, we just had Match Week, make sure, if you need it, educate yourself. Learn, talk to your patients, read, follow accounts that are educating on this topic if you're on social media. There are plenty of ways that we can arm ourselves to better take care of our Black patients. And with everything that's going on politically in this country, the risk to them is even greater.
Y'all white people ain't fucking pissed enough for me. Y'all ain't mad enough for me. They are sending people to the camps now. If you've ever asked yourself what you would have done, now's the fucking time. Now's the fucking time. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Now's the fucking time.
You may not understand simply because you're not an American, but we fully understand because we're proud American gun owners, and it's our job to defend the Second Amendment.
But I understand that we don't have guns in the UK, that is true, but we don't have mass shootings either. Children aren't scared to go to school.
You have mass stabbings, lady. You have all kinds of murder.
Nothing like the same rates here.
Well, you can go back to your country and worry about your no guns.
That's very kind of you.
We like ours here.
Maggots. Here's your first homegrown you can ship off to El Salvador. Yeah, he's even wearing a cross for all you Bible thumpers out there. You know what I'm talking about? The old homegrown terrorist. There he is. So, have at it. Where are you, Donut? Where are you, Donut? Let's ship him off. Send him to the old El Salvador prison. The death camps. Ship him. I'm waiting. We'll all wait. How long? Probably forever. Because in your mind, he's not a homegrown. He's probably some kind of hero. Make it make sense, folks. Please, make it make sense. Dude opens up shooting on FSU, and he's probably going to go through a trial, something like that. ICE isn't going to come in and just grab him and ship him off to El Salvador, or somewhere else for that matter. No, he's going to get the full judicial treatment, most likely. But if we are shipping people to El Salvador, he should be first in line. What say you?
just your friendly reminder that racism is on the rise because people of color, particularly black people, are beating white people at their own game. Misogyny is on the rise because women are beating men at their own game. There's an attack on neurodivergent individuals because they're the ones calling out all of the things that are not right in this world. And there's an attack on transgender individuals because they're proving the gender binary is in fact a societal
Now, the courts of the United States have said there's no evidence to support the charge that he's part of MS-13. So I asked the vice president whether or not El Salvador has any evidence that he's part of MS-13 or has committed a crime. So I asked the vice president if Abrego Garcia has not committed a crime, and the U.S. courts have found that he was illegally taken from the United States, and the government of El Salvador has no evidence that he was part of MS-13. Why is El Salvador continuing to hold him in CICOT? And his answer was that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador, the government of El Salvador, to keep him at CICOT. And I pointed out that neither the government of El Salvador nor the Trump administration has presented evidence to support the claim that he's committed any kind of criminal acts. And so why not release Abrego Garcia today? And he said what President Bukele said the other day at the White House, which that El Salvador can't smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. And I said, I'm not asking him to smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. I'm simply asking him to open the door of CICOT and let this innocent man walk out. And I pointed out that the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, has said that the United States would send a plane to El Salvador to pick him up. And why did she do that? Because the Supreme Court of the United States, in a ruling of 9-0, has said that the Trump administration has to facilitate his return to the United States. Now, there's no evidence that the Trump administration is complying with that order. There's no evidence that they're complying with that order. In fact, the United States Embassy here has told me they've received no direction from the Trump administration to help facilitate his release. So the Trump administration is clearly in violation of American court orders. But that still leaves the question, why is the government of El Salvador continuing to imprison a man where they have no evidence he's committed any crime and they've not been provided any evidence from the United States that he's committed a crime?
A Christian nationalist group had a conference and they were having a singles night. Turns out singles nights in Gilead just aren't real enticing to the ladies.
We actually have room for 5 more single women who are 25 years or older so that they can come and join us both at the conference and for the singles event that will be taking place at the conference. We are hoping to fill up our singles event. And finding godly Christian single women has been, I'll just say, much more difficult than finding godly Christian single men.
That is Pastor Joel Webbin. He is one of the architects of Project 2025. Turns out in his little Handmaid's Tale wet dream, he can't get women to sign up for their singles night. I mean, it couldn't possibly have anything to do with saying things like this, could it?
In general, I don't want to see women in the public sphere. You mean they shouldn't hold political office? Correct. You don't want to see them podcasting? Correct. What about in the marketplace, with, 9 to 5, careers? No, not that either. Like, I don't want to see women holding positions in the public square.
Yeah, it's really puzzling why you can't find women to sign up for your little under his eye circle jerk. Mystery of the ages.
Black people feel pain the same way as white people. A 2016 study showed that 50% of medical students and residents who were studied thought that Black people couldn't feel pain the same way, because they had thicker skin or their nerves didn't work the same way. Where is this from? It's a holdover from the days of slavery when white people had to feel better about using slaves. Black people used to be operated on without anesthesia, and were used in studies without their consent, so this was a convenient lie. To this day, Black people are less likely to get the same treatment in terms of pain medication. They're more likely to wait longer in the emergency room. They're less likely to be taken seriously. It's a holdover from the days of slavery. And in my field, this plays a huge role in the Black maternal and morbidity crisis. The call to action, doctors, nurses, anybody in the medical field, check your implicit bias. If you see somebody spreading these lies, stop them, but still stop yourself every time you're caring for somebody who has a different skin color than you, and check your bias. If you are a woman of color, speak up. If this is happening to you, ask to speak to a different nurse, a different doctor, report them, speak up.
Asking for help. I'm not asking for any handouts, but I'm a small business owner that is directly being affected by the 104% tariff. Asking, is there anybody out there that has connections with manufacturing facilities, specifically alloy wheels, either in the United States or outside in these lesser tariffed countries like Mexico, Indonesia?
So you voted for bad things happen to other people. Got it. But now that your business is hurting because of Trump's tariff, it's different? Maybe, just maybe, voting for Trump wasn't the flex you thought it was. Oh, but wait, Elon said empathy is a weakness, right? So no help for you? Okay, liberals, it's time to help MAGA rebuild the business they destroy. Voting red.